guys today?
Awesome, Daniel. How are you?
Great.
Great. Let's talk about celebrating life.
All right.
How do you go around the country if you were crowned Miss America Outstanding Teen and get people interested in celebrating life and interested in adopting children from China?
Well, actually, I was just talking to my hostess about this, and a lot of people don't really know what goes on in China with the one-child policy. For me, I was abandoned by a trash can, and people don't realize that that's the reality for a lot of girls in China. And when you just educate people about the things that happen, they want to help immediately. My hostess was like, is there anything that we can do to help these girls? And so by talking to girls my age, we live such wonderfully blessed lives. We go to school, we have all these opportunities. When you tell them the things that girls our age go through in life, they immediately want to help. It's just your inner sense of human compassion.
We hear so much about the Boy Scouts, Eagle Scout, and you are a gold award of the Girl Scouts.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Why don't we hear so much about that?
Well, I think that the Girl Scout program is, when you think of Boy Scouts, you think, oh, they go camping, they learn how to start a fire, and the Girl Scouts, it's really, I don't want to sound like misogynistic, but it's more like at-home-based things. Like we do community service all the time. We go to like food shelters and stuff. So it's just not known as well because of our culture is so male-oriented.
What is your favorite badge that you received?
I would have to say learning how to change a tire, because when I turned 16, my dad said, before you can go out and drive by yourself, you have to learn how to change your oil and you have to learn how to change a tire. So I happened to earn a badge for that as well.
It says here that you want to major in political science, international studies, and focus in Chinese. I have a question. So with your coming generation, you're living in the United States now, we're outsourcing a lot of jobs to China, and there's a lot of people who need jobs in America. What do you think about this epidemic, and is there something that you would do about it?
I think it's really in the hands of our country's businessmen to take care of that, because they see China as a place for easy labor. And it's true, there are girls there, my biological sisters being some of them, that go to work in factories. They work for hours and they get paid less than our minimum wage. And so it's up to the morals of our business people to say, hey, you know what, that is not right. We have to bring the jobs back to America where our people need them and stop exploiting the people that they can't do any better than that.
Would you buy anything that's made in China?
Of course, I go to China twice a year and I always buy things when I'm
You
there.
say you should not encourage what's happening over there.
That's true, but I think it's kind of right now where we stand, it's almost impossible to buy things that aren't made in China.
What made you choose? One of my very first concerts was the Charlie Daniels Band.
Really? I applaud
A
you.
long time ago. How long have you been playing the fiddle, and how long did it take you to learn that song?
Well, I've been playing for 13 years, and I actually started playing the fiddle without learning how to read music. I learned music my freshman year. So I met Charlie Daniels, he talked to me, he's like, if you play the fiddle, you gotta learn The Devil at None of Georgia. So I listened to the song over and over and over, then I just picked it up and I just started playing it. I can play by ear, so it's pretty easy to just kind of get the riffs in. So, yeah, it didn't take very long.
Sometimes though, learning by ear rather than by technique.
You know what? It's a blessing because you can't learn how to play by ear, but you can learn to read music. So if I'm in my orchestra and I can see the music, but I'm not quite getting it, if I can hear it, I got it with no problem.
So do you have perfect pitch?
If you give me an A and then give me some sheet music, I can sing it for you.
Oh, darn it.
How is it going from homeschooling to the National School of the Arts?
It was culture shock, let's be honest. I was homeschooled. I wasn't, like the jeans skirt wearing kind of homeschool. I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled because I traveled so much with my mom to volunteer in China. So when I went to National School of the Arts, it's a very liberal community. It's very open, we have a gay-straight alliance. People are so okay with everything, in the modern world. And for me to go from being at home with my mom and little sister every day to seeing things like I've never seen in high school before, it was complete shock. I walked in on a girl piercing her belly button in the bathroom. Talk about shock for a 14-year-old.
Going back to Raj's question about China, Do you think that the U.S. should be the world's police? Are we entitled to be the world's police?
You know what? I think that if we are going to take that stance, then we have to do that job responsibly, and we have to do that job objectively. So we can't police the world in our favor, because that's not policing the world. That's just looking out for ourselves. If we want to go into different countries and help them, then we need to do it without expecting things in return.
What are 3 things you'd put in a time capsule to open up 30 years from now?
My journals, I actually found all of them from when I was 7, and I read my life since then. My journals, my favorite pieces of classical music that I will cherish forever, and then a picture of my birth family.
E-books, e-readers, or books?
You know what? I love books, and I think that a book is the content. It's not the pages, even though I love the smell of books, I love the feel of books. But when I travel, I take tons of books with me, and it gets heavy. I can't check all those books, so I actually just bought an e-reader for China in this trip.
If you go to China twice a year, you said,
Yes.
you must be a very seasoned traveler.
I am, yes.
What 3 essentials do you have to pack every time?
Lotion. The airplane ride is 16 hours, and that air just dries you out real quick. Hand sanitizer, because you never know what kind of situations you're going to get in. And tissues, because in foreign countries, they often don't have toilet paper in the bathrooms, and that is a big problem.
What city do you go to?
I go quite a few places. I go to Beijing, Shanghai, and then Ma'anshan is where I'm from, Xi'an, Guangzhou, and Xiangying.
Do you speak Chinese?
You know what? I can't. My family is grown-up Southern, so we don't speak anything else. But at my school, they only teach Spanish and French. So I'm in French right now, but when I go to college, I'm going to learn Chinese.
How do you communicate with your birth family?
My oldest sister, she speaks English. She is a teacher. She's a chemistry teacher, so they have to learn English. So we talk to her, and she translates for everybody. So she's always running around, talking here, talking there for us.
How often do you talk to your birth family?
I talk to my sister 2 or 3 times a week, actually. We email back and forth all the time. But my parents and my other siblings, it's a lot harder because they live on a farm in this rural city in China. They don't have internet. They don't think they have landline phones. They don't have plumbing. So we don't get to talk that much.
Well, so you are in contact with your birth parents,
Yes, sir.
and how do you feel about the notion, or do you forgive your parent, or have you forgiven your parents for abandoning you by
You-
garbage?
You know, when you hear something like that, it shakes you. It grabs your soul and just rips it apart. They told me that, and at the time I was 14, and I was just realizing the things about adoption that just hurt so badly. And it makes me mad, but I'm so glad to be here, to say that I was abandoned by a garbage can, but I'm at Miss America's Outstanding Teen. How better can it get than that? And I love them to death, and I will always be appreciative for what they did.
Haley, thank you so much. We look
Thank you
forward to seeing
guys.
on stage.
Have a great day.